Well, hello. It's morning, isn't it? It sure is. And it's Monday morning. Are you feeling that a little bit more than other mornings? Is that your experience? Monday morning is harder than Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning? Friday morning can be tough because it's the end of the week. But anyway, here we are. It's morning. And it's good to see you or be seen by you, whatever the case. That's good. Hey, hope you joined us for the podcast on Friday night. We did a bunch of youth group memories. It took a while. It was a little bit longer episode than usual, but it was fun. Hope you got something out of that. And Sam read The Wonky Donkey. That's a good story. It was a good time. We had a good special guest. We had Jared Carey on the skid couch there, playing the stand and pan man. Yeah, it was a good time. If you're not watching that, you should. And tell your friends. Yeah. We have fun. If you've got ideas, things that you think would be fun, or a question that you want asked, or you've got a short kind of 30-second, 40-second video clip that you'd like to share with people, send them my way. And if we can fit it in, we'll try. Can't guarantee, but we'll try. Okay, here we are. This week for our Well Hello It's Mornin' series, our 3-part series, we are looking at, hang on, I hit the wrong button. There we go. We are looking at sin, part 1. Yeah, really light, fluffy, easy word, right? Those 3 letters, they pack a lot of weight, but here we are. Kill-X and hypergrowth. I'll get to that in a second. We're going to read Genesis chapter 3, verses 4 through 7. It's from the New Living Translation. Our church tends to use the English Standard Version, what we call the ESV, but I find the NLT, the New Living Translation, when I'm working with youth, is very easy to understand, very easy to read. So if you've never owned a Bible before and you're looking for one, I would suggest starting out that be the translation you start with. And then as you get a little bit more familiar with the scripture, you can go on to something like the ESV. All right. There's lots of good translations out there. And honestly, if you go straight to the ESV, that's not a problem. But this is just what I do. Okay, cool. Here we go. Oh. Now we're going. Okay. You won't die, the serpent replied to the woman. God knows that your eyes will be opened as soon as you eat it, and you will be like God, knowing both good and evil. The woman was convinced. She saw that the tree was beautiful and its fruit looked delicious, and she wanted the wisdom it would give her. So she took some of the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it too. At that moment, their eyes were opened, and they suddenly felt shame at their nakedness. So they sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. All right. The first outbreak of sin, the first outbreak of human sin, Adam and Eve eating the fruit that the Lord has told them not to eat from. You can have all the other food in the garden, just don't eat from this one tree. And they did it. It was that first outbreak of sin. They wanted to be as God, knowing good from evil. That was what was motivating them. They felt that God was holding back on them, and they wanted to be like him. Their eyes were opened once they ate that fruit, and they knew. They knew. Their consciences were seared when they ate that fruit, and they knew. They knew. They knew very quickly that they were on the wrong end of what they'd been doing, that they had it wrong. All right? I described that as the Kill-X experience. So we've got a couple of pictures of some dandelions here. We've got some healthy dandelions in that first bright picture with the white background, the nice tall stalk, the yellow flower. Some of them are into the seed spreading stage. That's a healthy dandelion. And if you look at the other picture, you can see they're all white, but they're kind of, the white bits aren't that nice big plume, kind of that roundish bulb looking thing. They're small and they're tight. And if you see the stalks of the plant, the stalks are really curly, and they've gotten so tall and then curly that they've fallen over. Those plants have been sprayed by Kill-X. Well, maybe not necessarily the brand Kill-X. Kill-X is a brand name. They've been sprayed by a chemical called 2,4-D. That's what they call the active ingredient in Killex. So the idea is you've got ice cream, right? But is it, what brand? Is it Chapman's ice cream? Is it, what are some of the other brands of ice cream? Is it Chapman's? Is it, oh, I can't remember them all now. I'm having a bit of a, yeah, you get the idea. There's lots of different brands, but the active ingredient is ice cream. Same thing here. Lots of different brands of weed killer. The active ingredient is 2,4-D, and that's very common for Killex. So there you go. You've got the experience of, or you're seeing what happens to a weed when it's sprayed to Killex. Now, what's interesting to note is when you think of a weed killer, you think, yeah, that weed killer goes in and tells the plant to die, right? It burns the plant, or it just cuts it, takes the life out of it. That's not actually what Killex does. What Killex does is it goes down to what they call the brain of the plant. It's not really a brain, but kind of the organizational, whatever, the brain of the plant. The Killex goes down there and it says, hey, it says, you should grow really fast. Grow, grow, grow. Grow, grow, grow. And the plant's like, yeah, okay. And it grows. And it grows so fast that it grows through all the cycle of its life super quick, and it grows itself to death. It can't mature properly. It can't mature in the time that it's supposed to. It does it super quick, and it grows itself to death. That is like sin in our life. There are lots of good analogies of what sin is like. Probably the most accurate description of sin is the idea of missing the mark, which is an archery term, the idea of an arrow missing the bullseye. It missed the mark. Here's another example. Sin grows yourself to death. It brings you into things that you're not yet ready for, and you're not ready for them emotionally, spiritually, and it grows it emotionally and spiritually. You can grow yourself to death by engaging in sin. Adam and Eve had the Killex experience. They knew, as soon as they ate that fruit, they knew they were naked. They covered themselves and they hid from God. Up until that point, when they were naked before each other, there was no shame. And if you're kind of going, oh, I can't believe he said that on YouTube, that just goes to show how broken we are in our sin. That's something that at one time was a beautiful thing where they experienced no shame, all of a sudden became shameful. And it doesn't take a genius to look at our world today and see how the relationship between men and women and the sexual relationship between men and women, how broken it is, and how we've made it at times made it a sick and perverted thing. All of a sudden, Adam and Eve, that thing that was once beautiful, was now a source of shame. They knew they were naked, they covered themselves, and then they hid from God. They tried to pass the blame. It's not my fault, it's her fault. It's not my fault, it's the snake's fault. They tried to pass the blame. They wouldn't take responsibility for what each of them had willingly chosen to do of their own accord. Nobody forced them. They chose. They had grown too fast, emotionally, relationally, spiritually. Things would never be the same, and they have never been the same since. And each time one of us engages in an act that we know is sinful, and we do so with intent. We say, yep, I know that's sinful, but I'm going to do it anyways. Each time we do that, we shake our fists at God and say, we know better. We run the risk of growing too fast, of growing ourselves to death, trying to be as God and call the shots on our own and engage in sin, in those things that God says, hey, that misses the mark. And we say, but we're going to do it anyways because we think we know better. And we get into trouble. We are separated from God because of it. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the coming days. All right. I hope you have a great day. Yeah. I look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday. Don't forget, podcast. This is a serious podcast. Friday night. Okay. Hey, I'm going to go back to the big screen. There we go. And I am going to shut this thing down. So, yeah. See you later.